Like I could start a business, if this is a SaaS product, we're going to scale this and sell it to enterprise businesses. That doesn't work out super great for me. It's after 3 years. I'm like, let's just put it into a real estate business. And then,
Yeah.
I've totally pivoted the business. You're saying now it wouldn't qualify for those
Yeah.
exclusions.
And it can ruin like all of it. It can spoil all the milk, so to speak. So those are important. So those are the biggies when it comes to the company itself being a qualified small business, a QSB, so to speak. But then there's like, all right, but what about the stock and investors in the stock? That's the next most important thing. And angels have a couple of not landmines to be aware of, but there's just a couple nuances that are specific to angel investors. I'll explain what. So again, the shares that an angel investor must have, they need to come directly from the company. So again, no secondary markets. It's got to be direct ownership. Um, this is interesting because in my own angel group, we have what we lovingly call a sidecar fund. And the big question is like, well, if I'm an investor of the sidecar fund, and then the sidecar fund itself invests in the startup, if it is a big winner, will those tax benefits flow down to me so that I can take advantage of QSBS?
Great question.
Big question. It's like the question. Um, the answer is yes, but it depends. I should have just said it depends. It depends how the sidecar fund it's usually like an SPV type of thing. Depends how it depends on that entity shape and how it files taxes, basically. Most of the time, these like funds, these like SPVs are set up as like pure pass through LLCs. Like, it's like, yeah, it does a tax return, but the reality is it just like immediately just like spits everything out to the actual like members or the investors underneath. So like if it's a pure pass through entity, it's really just a conduit to do the pure investing as if it isn't there at all. You just help to divvy up the percentages. If it's a pure pass through, most of the time you're still going to qualify for qualified small business. So your ownership counts in those cases. As soon as it starts to become like, the fund like holds, it retains some of the earnings and starts to do like funky stuff with management, like now you're getting dangerously close to sort of piercing that veil. But that's a major question that we had to look up in my own angel group.
Which would imply, so the fund itself, so let's say there is management fees. It's more of a traditional VC. Like let's say I invest in a VC, right? There is a
Yeah.
management team. They're taking a 2 and 20, and the fund is invested in a company that, like I'm invested in a fund that then invests in a business. How does QSBS work in that instance? Does the VC entity receive that, and then I receive benefits indirectly
Yeah.
in my distributions as an LP? Though those would obviously have that 2 and 20
Yeah.
taken off the top. Is that functionally how that
Yeah.
would work?
Yeah. Management fees don't like negate it by any means. It just, so traditional VCs are hyper aware of QSBS because they totally qualify as well. They're going to be setting up their funds like 9.9 out of 10 times to be able to like qualify for QSBS for everyone just because they know like this is such a big deal. There's a couple things I'll have to like refresh my memory that like definitely like make it not okay. Like if the VC fund actually raises from like if their LPs are like international LPs, right? We're talking like institutional grade like VC shops. That's one of the things that like spits it out. But for angel investors raising via SPV, by and large, like everyone's setting things up as a pass through LLC. You're a passive investor. Most of the time, it qualifies. So
Great.
that's a big one there. The biggest landmine that I think that angels are not aware of is being very, very. We need to remember that the exact instrument that you use to invest, it's remind ourselves that it's not always stock. Like we're making an investment, but we don't actually own stock yet. Or in some cases, stock actually isn't like created. We just have a promise for future equity. Very, very important. A lot of pre-seed, even Series A in many cases. A lot of startups are raising via safes these days. So the big thing is like, well, does a safe count? Does a safe count as direct ownership in the company? And the reality is for QSBS purposes, where I'm trying to hold my shares for 3 to 5 years at the very least to get something, just remember that a safe isn't actually equity yet. The FE and the SAFE, the FE is kind of a giveaway, like it's future equity. You don't have equity yet, right? So it's same with some of the folks I work with in Silicon Valley who have like stock options. It's not stock yet. You don't get to start your clock. Those folks get a chance at QSBS as well. Um, but it's not stock until you've actually it's been converted to stock. With options, it's whenever you buy them or exercise them. With a safe, you're kind of at the mercy of whenever a price round happens, and then poof, you should have some equity
Yeah. And it must qualify at that time. So right, all the other
at that time.
exceptions you mentioned, it's got to be under the 75. They've got to be doing the right stuff. Not in one of these excluded categories.
That's exactly right. So it's at the time it converts, the time your day one of holding equity is not always day one of when you gave them money. And that's a huge thing. Your clock does not start, but also the company could have gotten super big really fast, which we're seeing in the AI world right now. Valuations are just getting ridiculous, and they're blowing past these QSBS levels really, really fast. Yeah, we're seeing some of that, mainly, Bay Area AI companies. But yes, you're right. It's at that time, whenever the price round happens, or just whatever whatever you had, your mechanism gets converted to stock. That's day one. And at that day one, you have to look around. It's like, do I meet all the criteria? So safes are the big one, and just the other one is convertible notes, also not equity. So we just have to remember that when we're deciding on should we do this deal or not, they'll say what they're offering that saves convertible notes and direct equity, preferred stock, safes and convertible notes. They're not equity yet. Preferred stock, those things actually count.